can understand it must have been quite a shock for Alice.
I felt close to that girl.
Stay close. If she's what you thought she is.
Sooner or later, this touches everything. Everything new and hopeful. Nothing lasts for me. Why'd you want to see me?
Well, for openers, you might congratulate me.
Hmm?
You didn't notice.
Oh, your office. It's beautiful.
Mr. Dowell retired.
Oh. Well, I'm glad one of us is making progress.
I think we both are. And I want to talk to your father. I'll go to Maine.
Well, I told you he's a sick man. He's in a rest home.
All right. Colby.
Now?
Now. Your father's the only one who can give me the answers I need.
But he wasn't a witness when Chris was blinded.
His testimony was the thing that really nailed you. Don't you realize that?
It was what the other children said.
You know, that was quite a story for the police to swallow, coming from a bunch of scared children, until your father spoke to them. He described you as nervous, unstable, given to nightmares and crying spells. He told the police you didn't get along with other children.
Stephen.
It's right here in the brief. Would you like to read it for yourself? That's why I kept Anne away from other children. I figured it was in their own best interest. I suppose a lot of my daughter's problems are my fault. It's hard for a man to raise a girl by himself. Anne's mother died when she was a baby.
Please don't read any more.
Anne, why did he say these things about you?
I suppose they're true. But children learn how to behave by being around other children, and I never was.
What brought you to Peyton Place that summer? Did your father have business here?
I don't know. Is that important?
Something very strange about that whole summer. You left practically the day after the hearing, didn't you?
Well, my father wanted to get me psychiatric help.
Anne, I've got to talk to your father. There's too many things that need explaining. Phone him.
Stephen, I don't want to upset him.
Well, now, what makes you think it will upset him?
Well, when I first decided to come back here, he tried to talk me out of it.
Why?
Well, the obvious reasons. It was all so long ago that there seemed no point in raking it up again.
Exactly. The obvious reasons.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I can't go much further for you without talking to your father.
Are you making this an ultimatum?
Why do I have to make it an ultimatum?
All right, Stephen. I'll phone him and tell him you're coming. I'll do it at home.
All right.
Would you mind if I went with you?
No, of course not. You really cushion things for him, don't you?
He's the only family I have.
And in a matter like this, when you set out to find the truth, you can't put a limit on where you look for it. Unless you're afraid of that truth.
I'll let you know as soon as I talk to my father.
Hi, come on aboard.
Hey, this is great.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, isn't it? I was thinking about buying it.
Yeah, Mr. Kent told me you asked about a down payment.
Well, I asked about it anyway. You like wood, Norman?
You're gonna buy her, aren't you?
I just love the grain in wood. Look at that deck. It's made out of pure teak. And this mast is spruce.
Come on, tell me. You're gonna buy her, aren't you?
Well, what I had in mind, Norman, was to take about a year off from the office, get my family on board, and just sail around the world.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're pretty cool. Most people, when they get to be your age, well, they kind of turn square.
Now, look, I said I was thinking about buying it, Norman. I'm not going to buy it.
The price too high?
No. I think maybe you were right the first time. I'm just a little bit too square. And maybe it's just a little bit too late, too.
Oh, come on. You don't believe that yourself. Who was the guy that was a big stockbroker in Paris? And one day he had it up to here. And the next thing you know, he was a big artist in the South Pacific.
What are you talking about anyway? Paul Gauguin?
Yeah, that's him. Well, he made it, and he never came back either.
Well, he had his art as an excuse, you know.
So have you.
Oh, sure.
I'm serious.
Norman, I have a funny feeling that you're trying to corrupt me.
Only because I figure you might have room for a couple of stowaways.
Oh, I see. I'm beginning to see. Well, I might at that.
Only you might run into a couple of little problems. Like, my job with your father.
Well, now, I don't know. I might be able to talk him into giving you a day or two off.
I don't think you'd have as much luck with the dean. I'd have to miss a couple of days of classes. Well, as one square to another, I'd better get back to work before I'm out of a job.
Ahoy there!
Hi.
Hello, Mrs. Carson.
Hello, Norman.
Hi, sweetheart.
You letting ladies aboard today?
I most assuredly am. This way. Careful now, and don't lose your footing. That's good.
There. Ah.
Good girl. Ah.
Well,
Pretty nice, huh?
pretty nice.
I'm not going to buy her, you know.
You're not.
No. What's that saying from For All Things There's a Time?
Oh, Ecclesiastes.
Yes. Well, there's a time for dreaming, and there's a time for setting dreams aside. You know, when I was in prison, I used to dream about coming back here and just living my life from day to day. The ordinary routines of everybody in town. Of course, there was 1,001 things I wanted to do. Most of them included wanting to be with you. Here, let me hold it for you.
Thank you.
Anyway, I don't know where the devil this idea about buying a boat came from. Maybe it's just a carryover. I don't know. Anyway, wherever it came from, it's gone. Because I suddenly realized that I think I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. I dreamed for 18 years. And now I suddenly realize that I'm living that dream. I'm actually living it. Every time I go to work in the morning, I walk down the street and I see the other people going across the square, walking next to me, hurrying, busy. I finish up work and I come home and find you there. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
I want to stay here. I want to stay here with you. Did you think I didn't?
Well, I wasn't quite sure.
Hey, what is this, anyway?
That's a present for you.
Oh, it's a bribe, is it? Suppose it's house slippers or something like that.
Something like that.
I didn't know you were that insecure. It's a compass. To my beloved husband. May he always know where he's going. I guess I really don't know you at all, do I?
You know enough. Mrs. Cord, Mr. Peyton.
Good evening,
I
Betty.
hope you had a comfortable trip.
Is there anything else I can do for you, sir?
That will be all, Thomas.
Thank you, sir.
Any calls, Betty?
No, I've got the kettle on. I thought you both might enjoy a cup of tea.
Oh, I think not, thank you. Betty, would you mind looking through the upstairs closets, see if you can locate Mr. Peyton's cherrywood cane?
No.
If you don't mind. He's threatened never to walk again without it. You know how he can be about those things.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
didn't want to talk in front of Thomas.
Of course not.
I've done it, Anna.
I know, Martin.
You didn't think I could.
No, I didn't.
It was easy. It's always easy if you know people who will break their backs if you ask them to. If you know the right people, you can get anything done. Neither Brian Colby nor his daughter Ann Colby, or whatever she calls herself,
Howard and Howard.
could break my new will if they both sat on the Supreme Court bench.
So your estate is intact, safe. Congratulations. All of your properties, your holdings, your stocks, your bonds, all of these things are safe. But what about the people, Martin? What about the people who have meant something to you?
Who, precisely?
What about Stephen?
What do you want me to do?
Well, surely you can think of something. Martin, nothing is going to remain intact. Absolutely nothing if Stephen finds out that Ann Howard is his sister.
That's your fear.
And yours, too. You can deny it until the end of time, but you know just as well as I do what happens to your precious family.
Ah, stop it, Anna. Your endless recriminations. Stop it.
Ron.
Sarcasm doesn't work anymore, Martin. I'm going to lose Stephen unless we...
Hey, is something wrong?
Right?
Anna, I won't.
Did you talk to your grandfather?
About what?
Your mother's portrait.
What about it?
Well, don't you think you'd better?
Betty, stay out of this. Get out of this house. Get out of this house.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
As far as my studies go, I hired somebody to help me keep up.
Who?
Allison McKenzie.
You stay away from her.
I don't know where my father is.
What?
I called the rest home. He's gone. He told them that he was coming here to see me.
That's your war, not mine. I'm not going to end up one of your casualties.
Then stay out of the line of fire.